Look at how close XRP is from finally starting to see reversal back to the upside here. You can also see Solana is doing the same thing. However, it's already bottomed off, reversed back up, and is now retesting yet again the price ceiling, the top resistance. And if successful and we close above here today, tomorrow, the next, we should be able to see a pretty solid reversal rally or a completion of the bull flag formation on most of these major cryptocurrencies. So guys, today we are going to be looking at XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, as well as the S&P 500. And more importantly, what we have to look at is the fact that in yesterday's video, we made an episode talking about, did we just hit the bottom, as most of the major cryptocurrencies were rebounding or at least retesting their moving averages, which is a huge sign of recovery. And it's also a sign that we've kind of settled off, bottomed off, and hopefully can start the reversal process. Now, specifically, what we need to look at today is, are we actually in that bottom scenario? Did we actually hit that bottom support? And I'm, safe to say, or I'd like to say, that there's a good chance that we did, because most of these cryptos are actually still within major bull flag formations, major supports, and with the correction that we had, it's also sent us into oversold on most of the major relative strength indicators. So I'm very excited to go over today's episode and look and discuss, dive deep into these major cryptocurrencies. But without further ado, I want to give a huge shout out to ONGAME.DEV for sponsoring today's episode. ONGAME.DEV is a cross-platform MMORPG game with match 3 game mechanics. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with the types of games these are, as you can see over here. There's quite a lot of cool stuff to go over about OnGame, but we're going to go over it a little bit later on in today's episode. But like I said before, huge shout out to them for sponsoring the episode. And with that being said, definitely make sure to smash the like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and let's jump right into today's technical analysis. So guys, as you can see, top 10 cryptocurrencies, we are still consolidating, and we're in a position now where markets could be primed and ready to see potential recoveries or potential reversals to the upside, which is something we've been patiently waiting for quite a long time. A lot of these major bull flag formations have been taking many days and many weeks to consolidate and fill in the gaps here, and hopefully we're coming to that end very soon. As you can see on the current coin market cap, we're trading at 55 on the fear and greed index, which is a good sign because it does give us more room to head to the upside. It's not like we're trading all the way at 80 or 90, which is a reference to being extremely far stretched into the greed index, and that could cause markets to potentially decline to the downside. But trading right in the middle is a good sign and gives us plenty of room to head to the upside now. So far, as you can see, a lot of these cryptocurrencies are still consolidating. It is the weekend, and we did close Friday, so the stock market is closed, and if there is correlation, that's usually why we see the crypto market kind of flatline out on the weekends here, because not many people are paying attention and the stock market is closed. But before I go any further, I want to talk a little bit more about OnGame.dev with you. I want to give a huge shout out to OnGame for partnering with me on today's episode. Now, as with all cryptocurrency projects, please do your own research and never, and I mean never, invest anything you can't afford to lose. So guys, OnGame.dev has created a cross-platform MMORPG game with match 3 game mechanics. Now, by now, I'm sure you've all played similar games like this, but the goal of this game in particular is for players to build a reverse portal to their world to transform the game into a full-fledged meta universe. The world is called In, a world that players will have to explore, learn to live, and even develop. A place where you'll have to explore the landscapes and locations, hunt dangerous monsters, build cities, discover new technologies, fight in dungeons and rifts, compete in the arena, and even trade accumulated property through their own stock exchange. Now, within the ecosystem of In is their native utility token called TIN. This serves as the core currency for all in-game purchases and the entire economy. As you collect prizes and gems within the world of In, you will then be able to convert those rewards for TIN in their exchange. After doing so, you can head on over to the MEXC exchange and convert your TIN into USDT and and do with it as you wish. Now, vice versa, you can also purchase tin on the MEXC exchange and send it over to their in-game world and exchange it for other in-game benefits. Now, it gets even better. Besides in-game benefits, tin is a token itself. It's a cryptocurrency traded on a reputable exchange. So that means that as the game gets more popular, tin will naturally grow in price and volume, which means that you can take the risk and buy tin directly in an effort to capitalize on future gains that the game might bring. So guys, with that being said, make sure to join the OnGame community and make sure to check out their socials down in the description below. Otherwise, huge shout out to OnGame for sponsoring today's episode, and let's get back into the technical analysis. But there's nothing kind of standing out that I think we need to focus in on these cryptos. It's mainly just consolidation, but you can also see how most of these cryptocurrencies, these altcoins, follow the exact pattern of Bitcoin here, and that's very important when it comes to to making some of these trades. It tells you that you need to be paying attention to not just your crypto or your altcoin that you're trading. You need to look at Bitcoin as well as the other cryptocurrencies to get a general idea or consensus of where we're going to be moving to in the near future. Now, to focus in on XRP, then we'll look at Solana, because I know a lot of you guys want to see Solana videos here. You can see there's a lot of good signs that reference potential recovery here. First and foremost, on the daily charts that we're on, you can see we are becoming, or we did just rebound off oversold on the relative strength indicator. You also will notice that we have a beautiful bull flag formation here, which typically is bullish in the sense that we end up breaking through the top price ceiling and head to the upside here. And if I scale out just a little bit, you'll notice that this isn't the first time we've seen XRP form these kind of bull flags. It's actually been a consecutive thing for all of 2023 with these breakouts to the upside here. It's a consistent, constant movement and constant breakout that we see, within the history of XRP for the past couple of months here. And the main focus now is, as we zoom in, you'll notice that we are not only at the bottom of our blue Elliott wave that we drew right here, showing the 5 wave points. You'll also notice that we're rebounding off this price floor here. And if things are successful, then we would expect to see a reverse rally back up to retest moving average, which would be right here, as well as the yellow price ceiling. And if successful and break through that, we would then be able to see a pretty solid rally to the upside here. And why I believe it's going to be pretty large is because every single time we've seen breaks within XRP, it's not small. They're actually extremely large and extremely aggressive every single time, which is why I'm fairly confident when the rally does come, it will come, and it will be very important for us to get in, and you'll have plenty of opportunity to capitalize off these movements as well. So for those that are maybe a little more impatient or want to play a little more of an aggressive scale, as you know, we typically have been trending inside the fractal for quite some time. So if you want to play it aggressive, we could capitalize off a potential swing up to here first, followed by the breakout, which would be more of that conservative scale if you want to kind of jump the gun and get in before everyone else. Now, moving forward from XRP, the main focus of, I believe, today, and the main interest that I have is on Solana. And the reason being is because it is primed, ready, and looking perfect for that breach of the bull flag to head to the upside here. As you guys can tell, we've been tracking Solana for quite some time, just a couple of, maybe a week or two now on the channel here, and you can see we've discovered some very important things. Not only have we discovered an uptrend that has held very well, we've also discovered a price ceiling / price floor, where you can see in the past we had a bit of difficulty breaking through it, but when we did, we exploded. Well, you can see here, flash forward a couple of weeks, we've actually been using it as a means of support, bouncing nicely, recovering nicely off this to come back up to retest the price ceiling. And that's pretty much the main focus. Trading at 50 on the RSI right now gives us plenty of room to head higher if we, decide to do so. But more so, the main focus is the fact that we've discovered this lower high, lower low pattern here, filling in the gap, consistently retesting these floors, retesting this price ceiling here. And what we're waiting for now is a breach above this resistance. We thought it was over when we confirmed closure below this uptrend, which is it hasn't done that in a long time. It's actually the first time we've broken below this uptrend here that we've drawn on. So that was a bit shocking. However, we are still being withheld by support, and we've now extended these fractals lower to pretty much show us even more so the opportunity that Solana still has. Just because we had originally broken through this price floor here doesn't mean that it's over and that we're going to dump to the downside here. We still don't have enough volume to do that. But what we do have is a clear price ceiling of resistance here. And the fact is we fell a couple of days ago back on Tuesday the 23rd. It's now the 27th here. When we fell, we reversed off, caused a reversal doji, and are coming back up to retest the price ceiling here. So if all goes well, we should be able to complete that and break through it to the upside and eventually start to see a pretty solid rally as we complete and move further on in the markets here. But the main focus conservatively is a breach above, I'd say, both of these yellow resistances. And if we can confirm closing above both of those, then we should be able to expect to see a pretty solid recovery and a pretty solid boost in Solana's price. And a lot of these cryptocurrencies are showing signs that they are undervalued, which would indeed reference a potential swing to the upside here. Moving forward, looking at Ethereum, a lot of these cryptocurrencies, like I said, are showing signs that they've hit or achieved bottoming off, which would cause reversals to happen. Now, Ethereum and Bitcoin don't look the best to trade. Their indicators are a bit harder to kind of capitalize on or kind of draw out. We could extend this kind of fractal here, but again, I'm not a huge fan of the way this looks. All I do know is that we did bottom off support and we did retest this moving average, which is a sign of potential recovery, that we are kind of holding put or staying put for hopefully a little more than a couple of hours here. But the big focus and the big scare is with a lot of these cryptos, it might just be those. You can see XRP is kind of hanging out below its moving average here. Not what I want to focus on, but some of these cryptos are overvalued and they are above. It's mainly, I think, Bitcoin and Ethereum here. They're mainly overly extended and above their moving average. And this typically causes reversals back to support here. However, you can see it does take some time from 2020 all the way to like 2022. It's been 2 years since we came back down to retest that. So there is still a good chance that we don't need to come back down to retest that. But you'll also notice that we did switch. We did have that bullish cross on the weekly. And that's kind of what we're waiting for a lot of these cryptocurrencies. If we can get that confirmation, and we're very close to seeing it, where you can see this green band, which had a bearish cross right here, pretty much confirming the bear market. If we come back up to cross it right here, that would be a very solid sign for recovery and swings in Ethereum's price and a lot of the major cryptocurrencies at that. So with us rebounding off this support here, there's a good chance we're going to continue to scale up, but more so I like to just use them as references to the markets here. And if we manage to see golden crosses on their weekly, which guess what, Bitcoin has already had, it's been a very long time. The last golden cross we had on Bitcoin was back in 2022. And you can see right now, the last one we had was in 2023 in November here. So this is a huge sign. It's also a big sign of potential recovery within the markets here, but it's also a reference that we are overextended. Now, hopefully that doesn't really mean much, and hopefully with this this golden cross, that'll reference continued market movements here. But you'll notice we did have a solid support, and honestly, at this point, it's like we might as well just delete this, and you can see the uptrend that we've been using to hold on to very nicely here. And ideally, with this consolidation, we've lowered ourselves from a price of 83 all the way down to 66 on the RSI. It should allow us to eventually continue to spiral higher. That's pretty much the focus here. You can see kind of this channel that we've been kind of trading in or floating in for right now. I just want to pull it up super quick. If it allows me to delete this, geez, come on, and then draw it over, you can see kind of the fractal that we've been trading inside of here. And inevitably causing this consolidation here, filling this gap. Hopefully, we can start to rally up higher. But it is a bit difficult for the most part right now to see runs to the upside because there's no real big technical indicator that we can use as a reference. I mean, maybe if you want to scale it like this, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this, but yet again, it is still a possible indicator to use for potential recovery. But nonetheless, my main point of this video is that recovery is coming for a lot of these major cryptocurrencies. Almost all of them are showing signs that they've bottomed off and that reversal and a healthy run to the upside is coming. And it's coming very quickly, which is very exciting. As for the S&P 500, which is now entered an overbought market, what we need to look at within this is hopefully that we can consolidate too. With us being so overbought, it's typically a sign of potential correction to the upside here. However, if we kind of zoom out a little bit and reference the previous kind of ascending, broadening wedge that we had, when we did break through this, we were at 50, and you can see now we're at, Did we start at 50? No. This one was at 50 right here. Yeah. So you can see we did end up becoming overbought, and when we did, we consolidated lower and then headed up. So there's a good chance that we need to do the same thing, kind of consolidate a bit lower before we continue to spiral higher here. And that's pretty much the main focus that I'm looking at. Otherwise, we look great within the S&P. I think this year is going to be huge for the stock market. We're going to continue to rally up. And then also with a lot of these cryptos, February is huge and very bullish for these cryptos as well. So we should be seeing some big things come this, or not this month, but in the next coming days when February comes around, we should be seeing some pretty solid recoveries within those cryptos as well. But with that being said, huge shout out to ONGAME.DEV for sponsoring today's episode yet again. And with that being said, make sure to smash the like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.